Good morning and welcome to the Morning Scoop for Thursday, October 15th. This is your daily Buckeye Fix. I'm Tom Orr. The first football Saturday of the Big Ten season, 9 days away. The first Big Ten game is actually 8 days away, starts next Friday, and the game against Michigan, 58 days away. The big news today, however, comes from SEC country. Nick Saban has tested positive for COVID-19 just days before Alabama's showdown with Georgia. My guest today is NevadaBuck. He's here to talk about a few different pieces of really interesting information he broke this week at Buckeye Scoop. But first, Nevada, let's talk a little bit about the Tide and the Bulldogs, because if Saban has to coach from some isolated spot in the stadium on Saturday or just has to stay home and has Steve Sarkisian run the show, I mean, how big of a deal is that in what could be one of the games of the year?
Well, you never like any disruptions, and so from that standpoint, there's no way to spin it as a positive for Bama, that's for sure. Now, Bama's an extraordinarily talented team, and Sarkisian's an experienced play caller, an experienced head coach, and a guy that's been there before and had success. So it's going to be fascinating. It's just another one of those fascinating stories of 2020 where you're going to have key players and coaches and entire teams knocked out by positive tests, and so I think it's going to be very interesting to watch. But I think Saban will probably just let Sarkisian do his thing, prepare him well before he gets out there, and then get some chicken soup and pack a Coors Light, and watch the game, and hope for the best.
Coors Light, maybe the unofficial cure for COVID-19. Who knew? Saban did say on Wednesday night he was feeling fine, no real symptoms, and he said, he watched practice via Zoom or via some kind of video streaming, and said, it wasn't the worst practice I've ever seen. Maybe I just need to stay away from the team. So, it didn't really seem like it affected them that much on Wednesday, at least. Now that's Wednesday is not Saturday, so we'll see how it goes this weekend. But as of the time we're recording this on Wednesday evening, Alabama says that only Saban and athletic director Greg Byrne have tested positive. That would obviously mean no players. If they do end up having to have some guys sit out, this seems like a game where it might not take a lot of players missing that game to potentially swing the result. Yeah, no, it'll the information that we had over the summer is that a good percentage of the Alabama team had COVID through the summer and through summer training. So I'd be really surprised if there was a lot of key guys left on either side that hadn't been exposed and hadn't developed antibodies, to be honest with you. So I think the idea of entire teams dropping is going to be it's going to be fewer than people would be concerned about just because of that. But no, in a game like this, all it would take would be a Mac Jones or somebody like that to test positive, and that certainly could swing the whole balance of the college football season. So it's going to be fun. I know I'm going to be tuned in and watching, and I can't wait. I'm just glad to have college football back, and so excited to be talking about the Buckeyes and them getting on the field here in 9 days. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, one game that neither of us are going to be able to tune into this weekend is Florida LSU, and I guess that game is not quite as much of a marquee game as it maybe looked like a few weeks ago, but they have canceled that game this weekend after 19 Gators tested positive earlier in the week. They will now make that up the weekend of December 12th, which is Florida's last open date, the weekend right before the SEC championship game. What's interesting there is that means if there's an issue the week of the Georgia-Florida game, that one might just not get played. It's going to be really interesting to me to see how the playoff committee weighs things like that. If a game has to get canceled and not made up, or teams playing without coaches or key players, how is the playoff committee going to weigh those things? Is this going to be, well, if Alabama loses, they kind of, they get a freebie because Nick Saban wasn't there, or is this going to be something that, if you lose, you lose, and that's just how it is?
Well, yeah, I think it's a little bit it's unknowable a little bit, but we've had glimpses in the past from like college basketball where teams have played without key players for extended periods of time, and then when they get those players back, the committee weighed those games a little bit more heavily, and so I would imagine that the college football playoff committee would do the same thing this year. Try to take a broader view of what's going on with the team. Were they at full strength? Were they being coached properly? What were the circumstances surrounding the loss? And I think they'd probably be a little bit more forgiving. But it's going to make for great theater when they have to pick the Final Four
when some teams are playing 6 games, 8 games, 10 games, and it's going to be all over the board. So I don't envy the committee this year, but there's going to be a lot of controversy, and controversy is good for college football because people are talking, and that's what they like. They like when people are talking about the sport.
Now to the whole reason I wanted to have you on in the first place, which is that this may have been the biggest week you've had yet at Buckeye Scoop in terms of the amount of great inside information you've put out on our message board. Let's start with one of the questions that we beat writers always like to ask the guys, and we never quite get a straight answer. If you ask a fast guy, who's the fastest guy on the team, he'll always say himself. He never says someone else. It's always, I'm the fastest guy on the team. So you have gotten a straight answer, apparently. Who is the fastest guy on this year's Ohio State team?
Well, what I can say is that Ohio State did testing a couple of weeks ago, and the fastest guy on that day, Justin Fields. Justin Fields ran a smooth 4.30 flat, and that was fastest of anybody time that day. Does that mean he's the fastest Buckeye? I'm sure that title moves from day to day, but Justin, we've always known he was just a supreme athlete, and he's always been fast. But yeah, he can pick him up and put him down. And on that day, he was a 4.3 flat, which was fastest in the end. And but this is a team of fast guys, and he's the fastest on a team of fast guys. So it's really saying something.
Yeah, we talked to him earlier this week, and he talked about the fact he really is feeling good. He's out of that big bulky knee brace he was in towards the end of last season, and his body's feeling great. He attributed that to his workouts and also his new diet. And so yeah, we may get to see Justin Fields showcase some of that speed this year in a way that he couldn't towards the end of last year. You also had a really interesting report on exactly how the team is preparing for the Nebraska game. I mean, there's always kind of a balance this time of year. Guys, the coaches want to get guys ready to play. They want to have them ready to tackle, ready to hit, block. But you also don't want to have too much contact. It sounds, though, from what you said earlier this week, it sounds like maybe Ohio State's been leaning towards making sure guys are ready to play with the amount of contact they've had at practice.
Yeah, I think the information I've got is that the coaches have talked to other coaches that have prepared their teams through this pandemic and had the teams play. And one of the biggest complaints from the teams. Coaches about their teams was that they hadn't been physical enough in the run-up. The teams weren't prepared physically to go out there and hit. And so Ohio State's not going to make that mistake. Ohio State's been hitting a lot. And I think the plan is clearly to taper it down over the next couple of days and then get ready to get into a game prep situation. But the last week and the last weekend in particular was hot and heavy, a lot of contact, a lot of physicality. And, luckily, knock on wood, Ohio State's been relatively healthy, which I hate talking about health, but they're healthy. They've come out of this okay, and they've got an edge. There's an edge to this team, and I think the physical play is really going to help them be prepared. So when they play Nebraska, they're going to come out with no excuses and come out firing. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Now you had plenty more in that practice report, including the most exciting guy on the team. The meanest guy in a good way, not mean like a bad guy, just mean on the field like you're supposed to be. That one kind of surprised me a little bit. The guy who's being called Justin Fields 2.0, and the guy who's faster than you might think. Members can find all of that at BuckeyeScoop.com on our Ask the Insiders board. But I also wanted to move on to one of your other great scoops this week, which was 5 names to watch from last weekend's scrimmage. These were 5 young guys who've really stood out so far. I just want to focus on 2 of them, both safeties. And, I got to tell you, when Ryan Day mentioned Bryson Shaw and Lathan Ransom while talking about the safeties on Tuesday, Tony German and I, we heard it and we're kind of wondering, like, is he just running through the whole depth chart? Like, these aren't guys who are, really, really going to be potential contributors this year. But, I mean, it sounds like from what you were reporting that both of them are kind of really making a name for themselves already.
Yeah, well, you like to see the young guys, and you're always looking for the young guys that are flashing during practice and the guys that are, kind of come out making plays, making an impact. Because it's really easy when you go out there as a young guy to kind of get lost and just be in the shuffle and go out there and your number's not called the whole weekend. And these are 2 guys that are making plays. They're making plays in coverage. They're making plays against the run. They're both very, very smart, very polished players, physical players, can bring it. And,
I think that they're going to get a chance to shine on special teams, which is really a good place for the young guys to go out there and show what they can do. I can still remember vividly a young Bobby Carpenter going down and making a tackle on his first kickoff coverage as a Buckeye, and that always impressed me. It always stayed with me. And I think you'll see a lot of these too as well. The safety position is there's a lot of good athletes at safety position, and they've really been trying to create that hybrid bullet position, and that's really what they're getting. They're getting guys that are big, that can run and that can hit. So I think Sean and Ransom definitely both fit that bill. So those are two guys to definitely keep an eye on.
Well, if you are interested in finding the other three names to watch, you can find those also on the Ask the Insiders board at Buckeye Scoop. And you can also find Nevada's latest nugget. And I'm just going to read the title here. What criteria would Urban Meyer look for in a new job? With his name getting thrown around a lot in connection with the Texas job this week, that seemed pretty darn relevant right now. And again, Buckeye Scoop members could read all about that with information straight from Meyer this week. That seems we might get some new subscribers from the state of Texas this week. I'm a little ashamed at how quickly I clicked on that one. Like, ooh, that's juicy. And I normally do wait till the end of the show to plug the site, but this whole episode has basically made the case for me. So I will just say, go to BuckeyeScoop.com, sign up today, give it a month. You'll love it. I mean, if you're listening to a podcast every day about Ohio State football, you probably care about Ohio State football enough that you want to know what's going on and like what's really going on. So this is how you find out what's really going on. Go to BuckeyeScoop.com, sign up for membership. Next week is game week. Let me say that again. Next week is an Ohio State football game week. So don't wait. This is the time to do it. Sign up at BuckeyeScoop.com. You can sign up for a monthly membership or an annual membership right there. Finally, Nevada wanted to let you plug something else we offer. It is entirely free. You don't have to be a member for this one. It is a ton of fun. Let people know about trivia.
Yeah, Buckeye Scoop Trivia brought by LJ's Card Shop and ABC 6. It's going to be Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You go to BuckeyeScoop.com or to our Twitter page. There'll be a link. It's free to play. Just enter your email address. This week we got it's $100 cash and an autographed Paris Campbell rookie card. So we've got some terrific prizes that are going to the winners, and it's so much fun. It's less than 10 minutes. You can play it from any device, any place you can get the internet. You can sit with a group of friends and answer. While you're watching Sunday Night Football, you can do it, and it's a lot of fun, free to play, and you can win. So what's not to like?
Yeah, that is a lot of fun every week. I think I hopped on last week. I think I finished in third or fourth place. Not bad, but I think I can do better. We'll see. But I'm not eligible for prizes. So I will not be blocking anyone from winning. You can give me a run, and you can. We usually have a few other Buckeye Scoop staffers on there as well. It is a lot of fun. Like you said, it's like 10, 12 minutes and free. You don't have to be a member. Just sign up, put in your email address, and you can do it right there, right from your phone. It is a lot of fun, and it's winning $100 and winning an autographed Paris Campbell card. That's not bad for 12 minutes of work. So you can follow the Buckeye Scoop account at Buckeye Scoop. I'll retweet that from my account as well. So you can check that all out on twitter.com or at buckeyescoop.com. And so that's Sunday night. Also, make sure you check out all of our great podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, wherever fine podcasts are sold. Just search Buckeye Scoop to find all of those. And you can subscribe right there. Also, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. That will help some new folks find the shows as well. So thank you guys all for joining us. Nevada, thank you for joining me today. And have a great day. We will talk to you guys tomorrow.